I think what I appreciate so much about Body Double is the extrapolated scaffolds of Hitchcock's Vertigo and Rear Window into one of the most gargantuan, visceral, then modern, architecturally inclined, vaguely or overtly parodic hyper-thrillers ever realized. It is a particular category, but it is a model explored by a number of celebrated American auteurs, among De Palma, Michael Mann, sometimes Friedkin, Scorsese, sometimes Fincher, and sometimes the Coens. De Palma is interesting in the variety of cities across America he has set his films in. Obviously, New York for the earlier features, Murder a la Mode, Greetings, and Hi Mum plus Sisters. Carrie, I believe, is set in California as opposed to Maine. Obsession alternates between New Orleans and Florence, Italy. The Fury takes place in Chicago for the most part. Dress to Kill returns to New York. Blowout, Philadelphia. Scarface, Miami. Body Double, LA. Untouchables, period Prohibition, Chicago. The opening set piece in Prague, Czech Republic for Mission Impossible was De Palma's insistence. Snake Eyes with Atlantic City, Paris, France in Femme Fatale, and then less effectively, due to his lack of familiarity with the city perhaps, though still rather admirably, with Copenhagen, Denmark in 2019's Domino. Body Double is full of enormous moments. Burham's cinematography is absolutely extraordinary. The intrusive intro of Jake Scully, Craig Wasson's goofy, neuromantic vampire face, made up and thoroughly absurd. Wasson's face is kind of goofy, even without makeup, lending to my idea that this film is an intellectually inclined, in that film theory respect, parodic exercise. He's peering into our gaze, clogging the frame as he hesitates to emerge from the coffin of a film set. Claustrophobia, a ridiculous motif which spoofs or emulates the titular horrors experienced by James Stewart Scotty in Hitchcock's Vertigo. For demonstration of all these iconic, highly filmic, typical Los Angeles Hollywood locations is a precursor to the extensive highlight reel of the Coens' Big Lebowski, I find it easy to imagine. Body Double is a film which is interested in reeling it in your attention at every moment. Every player is hugged by the lens. Each plot development, character action, motion of an object, you're drawn to it instinctively, whether one is appalled or in disdain of what they are witnessing or not. Body Double's relationship to architecture is one of the most fascinating in film history, tied to its general relationship with a place, in this case Los Angeles, updating Hitchcock's Vertigo's already iconic standard-setting rapport with a place, in that case, of course, also California's San Francisco. Please list your favourite examples of a film's relationship with a particular geographic location if you would like to. Cinema is architectural engineering where editing is concerned, aligning footage in a manner which assigns an appropriate flow of space captured via the director's choices. Body Double is about a filmmaker obsessed with the medium, with the act of psychological manipulation, invested in the character of a location, the roles of critical archetypes within Hollywood's history, absolutely where gender roles are concerned, and wallowing in the unique qualities of their modernity, in 1984 less grey than George Orwell, though more in line with Guy Debord's descriptions of a contemporary dystopic spectacle, not dissimilar to a Matrix as we understand that within a science fiction context. Body Double is to be experienced rather than made sense of. It is a ridiculous endeavour to try and follow it coherently like a serious, considered, proud thriller, where the script is concerned, certainly. It is to be taken as a film which was written by the director for a visual display, a film which uses a famous Hitchcock narrative to demonstrate the pathological mutations of that modern America, spectacular Hollywood, Los Angeles pornography, obsessions of post-contraceptive sexual lusts, and the most idealistically hedonistic, pure instinct, celebrations of so-called superficial pop music extravagance, that is, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Body Double might be one of my favourite films of all time, a finer, more captivating reimagining of Vertigo than the overly familiar 1976 picture Obsession, a much more appropriately contemporary take on an older synopsis than 1980's Dress to Kill was to 1960's Psycho, and a more coherent and thoughtful treatise on the sexual politics of female libido and the sex positivity spectrum than 1972's Sisters. Melanie Griffith's Holly Body is confident, likeable, and an assertive worker in a brutish industry, concurrently both the intensified danger associated with generators of male sexuality, pornography, shifting sexual standards, the cult of the female form, and the means with which women can effectively navigate via their feminine characteristics, this post-pregnancy, prison, sexual environment. Both of these worlds are on display within De Palma's Body Double, I think. This film is De Palma doing Vertigo in 1984, detailing all of the distinct attributes of that zeitgeist, topics which De Palma wanted to explore, had been then permitted to, due to the success of the highly graphic classic Scarface. that he felt was important to distill in a feature film, and only he perhaps was going to be permitted to then. Maybe a parody on a hypothetical Vertigo remake released in 1984 by some Hollywood cynics. Maybe De Palma was trying to fuse his satirical ideals with his neo-Hitchcock fixation. In any instance, Body Double is a De Palma film which, if one is fond of, can certainly be considered that individual could certainly be considered a devoted fan of the director, and those who would not be taken by this picture could be considered among the skeptics, whom have always existed, and will probably always exist. That may be part of the fun of us fans, honestly. Plausibly, his finest decade was the 1980s on the strength of Dress to Kill, Blow Up, Scarface, and Body Double, and all released in a row from 80 to 84. Superlative. One of my favourite artists in human history.